I look pretty good. Welcome to the Noah Below podcast.
Last episode. This is the last time we're going to be in this studio. Well, maybe not, but last time we're filming in the studio. But, okay, here we go. Theme song in 3, 2.
Howdy ho, you handsome hunk. Grab a snack and gain some chunk. If your day is great or really sunk, we hope to help you shake the funk. So if you're good to hear some junk, buckle up, it's the Junk Monk Podcast.
Hello and welcome to the Junk Monk Podcast. I'm your host, Kandyce Sloan, who you know from Instagram at Hardens and Hardhats.
And I'm Noah, your co-host, you know from Right Now.
If this is your first time listening, let us fill you in. We are watching and reviewing every episode of the USA TV show Monk right here each week.
And we are going to do so while eating a little bit of junk. I don't actually have my junk food yet. I'm getting Whataburger. So
yes, Toby is delivering his. I'm still doing my food elimination diet, so I can't eat like most fast food. But I am coming in strong today with the Magnolia recipes. So today I have lemon poppy seed bread, which is really good. I had some last night. And also, before I forget, we are on YouTube. So hello YouTube.
Hello YouTube.
Hopefully our camera is not crazy like it was last week.
Hopefully.
So we did an episode last week in Noah's home studio. And that was the last time we're going to film in there. And then today is the last time we're going to film in here. So soak it in. Get all the content. And the reason I messed up on that first line was because I was like, we aren't watching and reviewing every episode each week because we're done. We're done. There's no each week anymore. We have a little bit more to go.
We have like 2 more episodes.
We have like 2 more. And we'll probably talk about what we're going to do later. But also, you must know, I have seen every episode of Monk. I'm a huge fan. Started watching in 2007 and for the most part watched it as it aired.
I have seen every episode of Monk. I finished seasons 1 through 3 and everything we did on the show. So I'm done.
Done. We just finished watching
Cabin Fever. Hot takes on it. What are your thoughts?
It
was good. I really like the weird Here's What Happens. So I'm probably gonna watch that one video you made with what's her name?
Denise.
With Denise.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was really good when they were both like saying it at the same time and like explaining it. Because
yep. I think that Denise had that on her list.
Yeah, it was a good one. It was definitely because there's only like 8 of those in the entire series of just like weird, odd. Here's what happens.
You'd be surprised. But
actually,
yeah. Well, I mean, we did quite a bit. So that was a pretty long episode.
Huh.
So we did different categories of like funny, serious, dramatic. But yeah, maybe like specifically weird, like a different like color or a different speed or a different, at the same time. There's not too many of those. So you're probably right about that. But you did like it. What did you think about the fortune cookies and? Did you catch it early? Like, all the fortune cookies have something to do with it, and
no, I was really under the monk spell on that one.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
So then you didn't realize that the girlfriend was part of the mob until right when they showed you.
Yeah. Or not right when they showed me. I maybe 10 seconds before. I was like,
yeah, we were like, when she's like, what's going on? And because she was also asking about Adrian Monk. Like, she was like, oh, you work with the famous detective?
Yeah.
Can I meet him? And I'm like, oh my gosh, this girl's being so obvious right now. But I think they did a good job.
It was good.
Yeah, that one's not bad. Natalie's very new. That's like her 3rd episode.
She did good.
Yeah, and she has, I think next is Stuck in Traffic, where she has a little bit more attitude. Like, it's a two-way street and everything. But this one was really good because this is the one where she talks about the karma. And she changes her point of view, where she's like, Mr. Monk, you're bad karma. Everyone's always getting murdered around you. And then at the end, she flips it and realizes it's good karma because then everyone dies around him so that he's there to solve it and make it right. Which is I feel like that's a very good message for the episode like we're about to discuss. Because it's the end. So, anyways. All right. If you're ready to start the show, Toby, take it away. What is it?
It was a sad, here's what happened.
Oh.
Anyways. Here's what happened.
Okay, Noah, are you ready for this?
I am.
Slow and steady wins the race.
Okay.
You don't have to do it all in one breath. You're showing them my notes, though, so spoiler alert. Oh, there you go. Okay.
This is Mr. Monk in the End, Part 2, Season 8, Episode 16. Okay, here's what happened. In the opening scene, we continue as Trudy describes in her videotape the events that led to her death. Natalie and Adrian watch as she explains that back in 1983, she had an affair with Judge Ethan Rickover, had become pregnant, and given birth to a baby girl who died 9 minutes later. Trudy believes that the missing midwife, Wendy Stroud, that Adrian had been investigating then, was murdered by Judge Rickover and that she would be next on his list. Monk, infuriated with this knowledge, goes to hunt down the judge, confronts him, assaults him, and gets sent to the hospital under arrest. There he is determined to find evidence to put away Rickover for his crimes. Meanwhile, Natalie suddenly is struck with the same poisoning symptoms as Mr. Monk, and she determines that the poison was in his wipes. This is great news, as now the toxin has been identified, Monk can be cured. However, when the gang goes to deliver their discovery, Adrian is missing from the hospital. Knowing where he would be, the captain heads to Rickover's home. Adrian is there, gun drawn at the judge, where he is forcing him to dig. Eventually, he strikes something. It is Wendy Stroud, the missing midwife from all those years ago. Monk knew there had to be more to the case, and there it was. He had proof to convict. Then suddenly, the judge grabs Adrian's gun and pulls it on himself, taking his own life. Trudy's case is over, and yet 2 weeks later, Adrian is left of the feeling of emptiness and confusion by Rickover's final words, "Take care of her." Then later, while packing up the case, he finds a clip in the newspaper explaining that on the same day Trudy had lost her child, the murdered midwife had taken a baby girl to the local orphanage. Monk puts together the final mystery. Trudy's daughter hadn't died at all. She's alive and well. She's a 26-year-old movie reviewer, and her name is Molly. Adrian meets her and falls in love instantly. As for the rest of the gang, Natalie is with Steven, the captain is with his Trudy, and Randy has Sharona along with the new title of police chief in Summit, New Jersey. Adrian Monk has solved Trudy's case and has found a daughter in Molly, and continues to be the world's greatest detective in the end.
Oh. Yay, that was Mr. Monk and the End, Part 2.
Oh, okay. Candace, what did you like about this episode?
Okay, first I'm going to start off with... these are my notes. I was like, let me see half my notes. Okay, I'm going to start off with our viewer's voice because we have a listener, Joel Dennis, who is also known as JD Toys on Twitter. He's from the UK. He joined us, I think, on... I think he was able to watch our live 100th episode that we did. Oh. So I think he was there for that. But he couldn't join our watch party because he's in the UK and you have to have the US, Amazon Prime version.
That sucks.
I know. So he sent us this really nice message, and part of that message was his segments, like what we do for our show, right?
What?
So for the first and the second episode. So I decided to read his stuff for this part 2. Okay, so his biggest like on this episode was when Randy says "I love you" to Sharona.
Aww.
And he was claiming it was the deputy because he's like, "Yeah, I don't know. He's still in the hospital. Okay, I'll call you later. Okay, love you. Bye." And the captain's like, "Who are you talking to?" And he's like, "Oh, deputy commissioner." It's like, "But you said I love you." And he's like, "Yeah, I do." "Wait, you love him?" "Yeah, I mean, I think he's doing a good job. I think everybody deserves to be told they're doing a good job. It's just common courtesy." Like, okay. It's like, "Don't you love him?" It's like, what? "You do a good job. I love you." It's like, okay.
I really love that scene because that means that Sharona, if Randy was talking on the phone with Sharona, that means Sharona wanted to know about Monk.
That is so true. That is so true.
Up.
He totally, yeah, that's true. Because he's like, yeah.
He's like, I think he'll be fine. Or what does he say?
Yeah,
Whatever
I don't know. They're still testing.
Yeah.
As in, showing, concern. She's obviously showing concern about him. And not just I'm still at the hospital here. My friend Monk he's in pretty bad shape. So I'll see you later. It's like, yeah, I don't know. They're still doing tests. I'll talk to you later. Okay, I'll keep you updated. Like, oh,
Yeah.
I mean, Sharona cares. Okay, so my first like, I'm going to take these off because this is my reminder so that I don't forget. So now I can read mine. Okay. We, of course, start with Trudy's tape.
Okay.
And I know you don't like Melora Hardin's performance
Okay.
as Trudy,
Okay.
but holy moly, when she's like telling the story, and when she's telling the story about what happened, she's like, I'm trying to like differentiate Trudy and Melora, but I feel like Melora has so many lines and she just delivers them like she's really talking, like she's really talking to Adrian and not a real like scripted like,
oh yeah,
this is what happened. And like she's like, I just was really worried about Wendy Stroud and she's a murderer and I don't know if I could just be paranoid and you might never see this tape, but if you do, then I love you and you aren't, what did she say? Dang it. She's like, you're not just the love of my life.
You are my life.
You are my life. And Monk is like, he can't.
And he's like he's like kneeling in front of the TV screen.
Touching it and oh my gosh. The whole scene is good where Monk is just like kind of agonizing over it and keeps pushing the pause button and everything and he can't. And Natalie's like, just let it play. Because his soul is just like being like crushed. Like and like I don't know if it was supposed to be like he was necessarily being crushed by the news of like, because she's like kind of words it weird when she's like, I had an affair, and it's like, well, she didn't like have an affair on him, so that's what we kind of had to pause it and be like, wait, what? Like, so she like, yeah. So anyway, but the whole thing was good as far as like Melora Hardin's performance of it, and then Trudy's delivery of it, and then Adrian's soul crushedness by it. Natalie's dying inside too. They're all just like, oh, Natalie's like, come on, Mr. Monk, we just have to let it play. And he's just like, oh. Because also that's the thing too, is like, he obviously didn't know what was in that package, but also he now knows like when this tape is over, that these are the last words that he'll ever hear. So it's like you would think you would like, okay, no, like I like trying to absorb it all in. Like you guys with our podcast, you're like pausing it. You're like, God, no, don't let it end. It's exactly the same thing. I feel like it's very similar.
Okay. Anyways, my first like is the exact same thing. Okay. The beginning scene with Trudy was 1,000,000 times better than Melora's initial acting in part 1. Her being in distress was like way better than her being like some sort of saint and like really like nice all the time. It definitely fit her better being in distress. And that music that was playing whenever she was like revealing that Ethan was behind it was just like so powerful. And it was like, boom. And it was like,
and it changed. Mm-hmm.
It was amazing.
It changes with like the like, oh, she's talking. She says something like more serious and Monk, and then Monk is like, okay, coming down and crushed, and then he's like, oh, he's crushed, and then it kind of changes the tempo. Oh my gosh,
so good.
Very powerful music for sure. And I'm really glad that you said that. I mean, obviously I'm glad that you felt that way, but I'm glad that you said that because it makes sense what you're saying, that Trudy is a saint. I feel like hopefully that makes you feel more connected to her, because like we've said before, like, I had more connection to that person than Trudy, because it's like Monk puts her on this like weird pedestal of like unhumanness. Yeah. And you're like, I mean, like, I know Trudy is supposed to be like great, but like we haven't seen a lot of her. We haven't seen enough of her to like feel that way about her ourselves. And so the fact that we like saw her and she's like, actually, like, I'm not human, perfect, and I'm not human. Like, I know you put me on this pedestal, and like, and then again, she also still follows it up with, and I love you, and I appreciate you, and you are my life. Like, I know that I am your life, and you love me a lot, but I need you to know that you're my life. Like, you think that I'm perfect, and I think you're perfect.
Yeah. That beginning scene was just so good.
It was very good.
Amazing.
It was. Okay, my next one is the committee hearing. Holy crap. Oh, yeah. That was... that's what I put. I put the judge's oh crap moment. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Whenever the judge, is at his committee hearing to, I guess, be a senator or something. He's a judge and they want him to move to be a senator, I guess. And so he's sitting in his committee hearing in this big courtroom. And then Man's just like asking him questions, I was a kid and I just, I thought I knew everything. Haha. and then Monk is like coughing. So he's kind of making a scene, right? Because that's the only reason that he would like turn around. Because Monk is like dying and he's like gripping onto the like, not a pew, but the benches or whatever.
It looks like a pew.
Yeah. And they're like grabbing him and he's like coughing. And Monk just has this like death glare. And so the guy's like trying to play it cool and he's like turning around like, yeah. And then, yeah. So I really want to be a senator and I just can't talk anymore.
Exactly.
And then he just keeps looking around. He's like, oh crap. And he like is putting it all together while trying to like make English.
Yeah.
And then he's like, actually, it's been a really long morning. Can we have a recess?
Yeah.
Like, Craig T. Nelson killed it.
For real, though.
He killed it.
That's my like. Rickover, good actor. Very good actor. We watched the bonus feature because we wanted to do like all the como se dice, research we could do about this episode.
Yeah.
So we watched that and I don't remember which one of them pointed it out, but
it was a commentary of the part 1 and part 2 with Tony Shalhoub, Andy Breckman, the creator, and Randy Zisk, who I believe directs most of the Monk episodes.
I don't know if it was. I think it was Andy, but he said like, this is such a good mono v mono, like, because Monk does this all the time with like the astronaut or whatever. When it's like, oh, Monk up against this person, and they're like, essentially going back and forth. But like he plays such a good villain. Like he's like taller than Monk, and he's like broad shoulders, and he's like he looks evil. Mm-hmm. And it's a really good performance.
Yeah, and yeah, exactly. Like we have a lot of those astronaut moments and stuff like that, and like this is one of my overarching themes, but it's like the music in this part too. They stop playing the music when he's actually confronting him. Like, you killed my wife, and there's no music. And then they only pick up the music whenever he attacks him. And, it's a big scene or whatever, and they play the music or whatever. But it was like, this is like our last... And it's not really our last because we see him later confronting him. Yeah. But this is our last, like you said, like, mono-y-mono, like, theatrical without being theatrical. Just like, I know you did it. You're the guy. And I'm going to get you.
Yeah.
Now he kind of goes crazy and like jumps on him and everything. But yeah. Yeah, this is probably going to be really hard to talk about without talking about the commentary. Yeah. So it was a very good commentary.
It was really good. I mean, whoever gets the Monk box this time,
yeah,
you're in for a treat.
Yeah.
It's a really nice commentary. Like,
for sure.
Especially, I've never even seen one. And like, even just like watching Tony watch his own things is like entertaining in itself.
Watching Tony watch himself was very interesting. Okay, we're going to talk about that during Junk Time, so we'll just keep going. Okay. Is it your turn, or do you want me to go, or you want to go?
You can go.
Okay. Oh, the scene where... Oh, Toby's here. Thanks, Toby.
Thank you, Toby.
Coming in strong on the finale, buddy.
God, he does nothing.
Such an idiot. Drunk Monk.
You want some fries?
Me?
Yeah. Little old me?
Little old me? Okay. So, the scene where the captain is talking to Monk. Monk is in the hospital room. And Monk's laying in bed. And the captain is like, we're getting this SOB. Mm-hmm. I promise you. This is me promising you that we are going to get him. And Monk's like, Captain, I'm not going to be there. Oh, you're going to probably have to open that lid up.
It's good. It's good.
You probably snapped that in half. Anyway, I'm not going to be there. I need you to promise that you're not going to just get him. You're going to kill him.
Yeah.
And then Stottlemyre and Ted Levine and Stottlemyre, same person, they're like, his face is like, he does an amazing job of letting you, like, promising Monk and then also letting you know that he's totally lying.
Yeah, for sure.
That's
like, good acting.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I promise I'll kill him. And he's like, You're lying.
That was crazy.
Oh my gosh. Man.
That gave me like chills.
Yeah.
You're lying.
I was like, so good. Too dang good.
I don't have a lot of specific scenes, so I guess I'll do those first. One of my favorite monk quotes ever. You're gonna kill a federal judge, and then Monk's like, tonight I'm the judge. We need that on a t-shirt. Tonight I'm the judge. Which could be interpreted weird, but
Tonight I'm the judge. I don't get it.
but like tonight.
Like an inappropriate thing?
Yeah.
Tonight I'm the judge. I don't get that one. I don't get it. It's going up here. I had that too, though. The big confrontation. Tonight I'm the judge. And, of course, we have this whole scene where... Monk shows up at the judge's house, right? And he pops out from behind the tree. And he says... your garage was open and I borrowed a shovel, start digging, and then he like kind of pauses and Monk is like pointing a gun at him and he's like, pick it up, start digging. And he's like, okay. And then he picks it up and starts digging. And then, of course, you have the whole scene. It is so theatrical. The fact that they did this in the rain was just amazing. So clever. Like, I mean, not clever because obviously people do things in the rain all the time, but it was such a good call. It was such a good call. Like, oh, should we do this in the rain? Yeah. Yes. 1,000% you should have done this in the rain.
Yeah.
Because it made it so much more theatrical. Monk is dying and he has a gun and he's pointing it at the man who killed Trudy. And, I mean, I guess little do we know that he's trying to get... dig up Wendy Stroud or whatever. We don't know exactly what's going on, but it's just whatever he's doing, we don't really care. We're just like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And then my favorite thing about this and my favorite line is the whole reason that the judge kills Trudy, which is a job. He's like explaining it. This is what happened. And he's like, and why did you do this? For what? For what? A job. A job. And Salmar's like, calm down. And he's like, a job. And like yelling it. It's like, you could totally think of like, wow, really? Like that's why he killed Trudy. That's why he's doing all this for a job. And it's like, that is probably the most realistic thing ever. Like, how many 2020 episodes are like, yeah, I was cheating on someone. I didn't want them to know I was cheating on my wife because either I don't want to get in trouble with my wife or it affected me in some other way. That was extremely close to hitting my carpet. So that was crisis averted.
I'm glad it did it.
Okay. But that is just like so realistic. Like, a affair with your wife. What is the repercussions of that? And for a politician or a judge or whatever, like, that's a big deal. And that's very realistic. Like, you know what I mean? The crime itself was not so off the wall that you're like, whoa, wow, what?
Yeah.
Which they could have done that and it would have been, like, oh, wow, that was a really unique, interesting crime. But it was so realistic what he did. Like, it was very, like, basic, you could say. But it's like... very realistic, I feel like.
Oh, yeah.
And the fact that Monk does spell it out for us in that moment and is like, and for what? A job.
Yeah.
So you could be a judge. So you could be a senator. It's a job. And then the judge realizes that because he feels guilty and he's like, yeah, I did. You're right. And then he like picks up the gun and he's like, take care of her. Boom. It's like... And also, I did not... There's so many things about this episode. I can't tell you all the things I don't remember. It's a lot of it. But I did not remember that he killed himself.
Oh, yeah.
0%. I was like... Ah!
Yeah.
I was like... Because he saw Monk's gun. And I was like, well, I know Monk doesn't die. So I know that he doesn't kill Monk. But I didn't know what he did.
Mm-hmm.
And then he was like, but I was like, oh my gosh. So that scene, I mean, that scene deserves a lot of talking about because that is the confrontation. We talked about, you know, the confrontation in the courtroom, but this is the confrontation. This is when Trudy's killer actually dies and it is actually over. Yeah. Of course, the whole mystery is not over, but it, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, after all that, my next like is, this is exactly like part 1, except it isn't. Okay?
Okay, thank God.
There are 0 filler scenes in this. And last episode, last episode, there was the chase scene in the trains, but I thought this chase scene, it wasn't much of a chase scene. It was just them trying to get to them to like stop Monk from killing him fast enough. Mm-hmm. But I thought it was way better. Not way better. It wasn't much of a chase scene, but there was like comedy in it. There was like,
you're talking about with Randy and the captain in the car, right?
In the car during the rain. It was really, really good. And they killed it. It was, because I mean, the first one was like, there was more acting involved, I feel like, in the first one. But I don't know, for some reason I enjoyed it more. The drama was more intense for me. Like, I knew they would somehow get over not catching the guy in the last one. And them just being like, oh, he's dead. But like, in this it was like, Monk's gonna kill a man and we have to be there. It was really, really, really good.
That's true. That is true. And I think that in the first episode they had, I'm not claiming it's a filler scene, but just saying like they stretched that out and they did need a big epic scene in that one towards the end of part 1 because there was no conclusion in that. Like they knew there was going to be a cliffhanger, boop, right there at the end. Yeah. Which is one of the reasons I didn't think that other scene, the whiskey scene, needed to be there, just because I felt like they had summed up their big, you know, thing in that episode. But anyway, so that episode, or that scene was action. Like, it wasn't supposed to be funny. It was action, action, action. And that's what it was for that episode. Whereas, like, in this one, again, it's reversed, where they're allowed to be funny. And this is going to be one of their last Stottlemyre Randy bantering moments. Whereas in the other one, Monk was the funny one because they were trying to get OCD moments and Monk being funny, and everybody else was like, serious, serious, serious. Flipped it on its head, this one. They got to be their funny selves, and then Monk is super serious. So, all right, Noah, let's be a little cleaner with the fries here, buddy.
I'm sorry. Oh, God. I didn't mean to. I'm going to stay all the way over there.
But yes, that is a good point. This is a really small one. This is at the end of whenever he's going to go meet Molly, and he's really nervous, and Stottlemyre is like, you know, you have to go meet her. She said that she wants to meet you, and Natalie's like, hey, you got to go meet her. And Monk is like, no, I don't like change. I like things the way that they are. Like, things are just fine. And he's like, yeah, I like things the way that they are now. And Stottlemyre just has a really funny line. He's like, no, you don't. It is true that he doesn't like change, but not that he's happy with the way things are. He's like, no, you don't. What are you talking about? Yeah. That was just a little one. I thought it was funny.
I loved how Dr. Bell is in this one. Yes. He is a much better therapist than he was last time. Instead of interrogation, he's genuinely caring of Monk. He's actually like, are you actually like, closure, blah, blah, blah. Are you actually okay with being done with the case and whatnot? And Monk's like, yes. And he's like, no. And it's really good. It's a really good scene.
Yeah, that's true.
He just did way better from last time, because last time he was like, what was his last words? Train. I wonder what that would be. Yeah, like, it was stupid.
We were more like, stay in your lane.
Yeah, exactly. But this time, I don't know.
He was intuitive that Monk wasn't really happy. And then he came on the back end and was like, well, you mean you've spent most of your adult life looking for the person that killed your wife? Like, it doesn't just magically, like, go away. It's not just magically, you're not magically happy all of a sudden. Mm-hmm. You know, I mean, especially with
that
what
was
we saw.
driving you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Where's your purpose now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then Molly at the end is like, come on. It's a gift.
Yeah.
There are other Trudys. It was sweet.
That's true. Yeah.
A very Trudy thing to say.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
For sure.
I have that. The in the scene that you were talking about with Randy and the captain in the car, Randy is so they're driving, and Stottlemyre is like, "Dang it, where is the siren? Like, you need to put the siren on the car."
Oh yeah.
And Randy's like, "I think it's in the back." And so like Stottlemyre's like digging through the back, and he's like, "What is all this crap? Did you buy this stuff?" And what does Randy say? It's funny. He's like, "No, it's a yard sale. It's for a yard sale or something." He's like, "You bought this stuff?" And he's like, "No, I'm selling it." Like, but he bought it before because he owns it.
Yeah.
He's like, "You bought this stuff?" And he's like, "No, I'm selling it." Like,
I didn't get that.
yeah, but that's how I interpreted it. Like, it makes sense because he's saying like, "No, I'm moving. I'm selling my stuff because I'm moving. I'm selling it." But it's like he did have to buy it in the past. So I thought it was funny. And then so Stottlemyre's like, "What is this?" And he's like, "Are these my dumbbells?" And he's like, "No." And he's like, "You borrowed them though." And he's like, "No, those aren't yours." And he's like, "They have my initials on them." And he's like, "Okay, yeah, those are yours." And then he's like, "Oh, Randy, the siren's not back here. I can't find it." And Randy's like, "Yeah, I probably sold it." That was funny. That was a good scene. No, yeah. I should have riffed off that. My bad. Okay, I'll say my next one because I already said it. The music in this episode is impeccable. Mm-hmm. Okay, where it's placed, like when it's placed, when they play it, when they don't play it. Like I said in the scene where the judge, they don't play it, and then they do play it. You know, when they pick up the scene, and it was the scene with Trudy. The scene with Molly, when he meets Molly the first time.
Oh, yeah.
I can't tell if it's the old theme song. There's a part of it, a snippet of it that sounds like it is that, like really slowed down. But it also could just be something that they used to play back, you know, like in the more beginning episodes. It might just be like just a track that they've used in the past. But that song is really, really good. And then the final song that they use by Randy Newman.
Oh, yeah.
Who obviously, sings It's a Jungle Out There. And they got him to, I think, did they say that was original for that? Did he write it for that?
I don't think so.
No? Okay. I thought he might have written it for that. It fit, like the words fit. So it was like, "It's time to say goodbye, I don't want to," or something, blah, blah, blah.
Isn't it like the Cup song?
Here's a little. The Cup song?
No, not the Cup song. Never mind.
I don't know what the Cup song is. No, yeah, I'm not sure if that was an original, but the words fit really, really well. Mm-hmm. So, again, killing it with the montage at the end.
Made me cry all 3 times I watched it.
Yeah. I cried every single time that I watched it.
That was amazing.
We watched it once with you guys at the watch party, which was awesome, by the way. That was a lot of fun. I love chatting with you guys, and you did really good at not doing spoilers. I was proud of you guys. I'm like watching it every 2 seconds, like, oh god. And everyone did really well, so I was proud. No, but that was a lot of fun. I don't know when the last time everybody else had seen it. I should have asked that. Mm-hmm. I should have asked when's the last time you've seen it. Denise said that she had recently watched it, and so she wasn't gonna watch it. And then she was like, "Okay, I have to." I suckered in. So it was worth. I don't know how you couldn't have watched it and chatted. I would have been like all over it.
Yeah.
But I have quite a few more. What else do you have?
I have 6 more.
Oh, okay. That's pretty similar.
Okay.
You go.
When Monk meets Molly, that is some gift from God acting that Tony Shalhoub has. Just amazing. Like, some of the greatest acting I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And he's just like, "Molly?" She's like, "Yeah." And they hug, and it's so sweet. Oh my god.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah, because he's like waiting for her to come out, and it's like not her, and then it's not her, and then this group of people walk by, and you're like, oh, I guess it wasn't her either. And then she turns around and looks at him and spots him, and then she's like walking up to him, and he's crying, and then they stand in front of each other, and then he's bawling, and then you're having this moment, like you're having the moment, he's having the moment, and she's like, she does such a great job too, though. Because she's not like bawling, because it's not her reaction, it's his reaction, but she's not like, what is going on, or like too emotional. She just plays it perfectly, where you're only looking at her to be like, wow, she does look a lot like Trudy. Wow, she's so pretty. Wow, like this is his daughter, and then Monk is just like looking at her, absorbing it, like, you are Trudy, you look like Trudy, you're half of Trudy, you're part of Trudy. Oh my gosh, I can't, I'm too overwhelmed. And then we're all having this moment, and then he's like bawling his eyes out, and then he's just like, Molly? Like, to make sure that it's her, and she's like, yeah. And he's like, oh, yes. Like, but you know it obviously because he's had this reaction to her, but it's so cute, and it's so amazing. What did you call it? God's gift to acting or something?
Gift from God acting.
Yes, gift from God acting. I agree. Okay, I'll talk about Molly then. For one, I think she was beautiful. She was so pretty.
Agreed.
And I would say she looked a lot like Memorial Hardin, but like she definitely could be her daughter. Like it wasn't like they got like, oh my gosh, she looks just like her. It's just like,
if they're like, this is Ellie Hardin, Laura Hardin's daughter, I would have been like, that makes sense.
Yeah.
It looked believable.
Yeah, exactly. And I thought she was just she was really pretty. I think she fit in like, I don't know, like, I just can't imagine like trying to cast that part and nailing it so perfectly. Like, oh yeah, this is her. Like, I don't know, too good. And both of the scenes that she was in, you have the gut-wrenching scene, but then the beach scene was really nice when we actually get to see like dialogue between them and they're walking on the beach and she's like, Adrian, stop taking so many pictures of me. I'm not a celebrity. And he's like, you are to me. And he's all happy and taking pictures. And she's like, you know, I'm going to the film festival for a couple weeks. And he's like, wait, what film festival? And she's like, the one in Toronto. And he's like, which one's that? And she's like, the Toronto Film Festival. And she like laughs at him, like not like treating him, you know, we've seen other people like the Toronto Film Festival. Yeah. Like she's like, the Toronto Film Festival, duh.
Yeah.
Like very like
so cute.
Teenagery. I know she's not a teenager, but you know, teenagery of her, like daughter like of her, I guess.
Yeah.
To be like silly.
Yeah.
Like duh. And so yeah, but she had such a great like sweet banter, and then when she realizes, like, wait, no, you can't quit your job for me. I can't let you do that. You have, you know, a gift. And he's like, well, a curse. And a curse, you know. The classic line. And she's like, no, it's not a curse. Can't you see that? Like, there's a lot more Trudys out there. And you're obligated to help them. And maybe that's why I'm here. Maybe I'm here to remind you. And then what does Monk say?
That's what your mother used to say.
That's what Trudy used to say. Mm-hmm. Yes, and she's like, oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh. And then she's like, what was she like?
He was like, she used to snore. And she never believed me about it when she used to snore.
I had a tape recording of it, and she still didn't believe me. And then there was something else.
She used to stick her tongue out when she thought.
Yeah, when she's thinking. And then Molly's like, oh my gosh, you do that all the time. And he's like, yeah, I love when you do that. Oh my gosh, it's so cute. She's so good.
Yeah.
She is so good. Molly, the actress, was so good. The character of it was so good and perfectly placed. It was killer.
For real. I also loved how when Monk is showing everyone Molly's like pictures and like 6,000 photos of Molly. Everyone is so happy.
It was 600.
600.
But the rest were getting developed.
Everyone is so happy for Monk and Molly, and it is so cute.
Yeah.
He's just like a proud dad in that moment. It is so cute.
Yeah, and again, we've seen where people are like disinterested in what he has to say. Like, okay, Monk, yeah, yeah, oh, okay. Yeah. They're just like, they are, but they're not. Because they do want to see the pictures, but then they're like, okay, this is a lot of pictures. Like, wow, this is a lot of pictures. Yeah. Oh, wow. It's so cute. And he has so many, like, this is of her drinking coffee. This is of her boyfriend. He's a little bit younger than her, but she doesn't know how she feels about that. And then it's so funny. And then what else? Like he, this is her telling me to stop taking so many pictures. This is her trying to take the camera away. It's so funny. Oh. Let's see. I have. Oh, this is kind of similar, but when Natalie, which I talked about the scene already, but when Natalie is convincing Monk to go see Molly and he's nervous, she says, Trudy sent you a gift. She sent you someone to love. It's true. Mm-hmm. Very true.
So cute.
I love that line also. And then I have the actors were amazing. Let's see. I think I only have like 2 more. Oh, I have 3 more. This is in the final... is it the final scene? This is before the montage. Whenever... this is the same scene with all the pictures. Because there's something sitting on the desk and it says Leland. And so the captain picks it up. And he opens it and he's like, oh, did you write me a letter? And then he realizes it's Randy's resignation letter. And he's like, well, Randy's leaving us. He's going to be the police chief at Summit, New Jersey. And they're like, what? No way, no way. I'm like, congratulations. And then Randy, looks at the captain and he says, you think I'm ready? And the captain says, I don't think anything. I know you're ready. And I was like, oh my God. And then, and then Randy says, oh, I had a great teacher.
Aww.
And the captain's like smiling. He's like, and Randy's like, I'm talking about you. And he's like, I know, Randy.
One final Randy moment.
Oh my gosh, that was so good.
I'm really happy what they did with Molly because I just thought about this because I would have been like just A-okay, fine with them just killing off Monk. But them, like, with the whole, like, oh, this baby, she died 9 minutes later, but she didn't, and it's actually Trudy's baby, and Monk gets, like, hang out with her and stuff, and, like, that's, like, his new daughter or whatever. It is so cute.
Yeah.
Definitely, like, we always give, like, the writers a really rough time about their writing, but this was it. This was some, like... I would have never even thought about that. It was amazing. It was really good.
So you're glad that your not prediction, because I don't think you thought he was gonna die in the last episode. Like you thought, like, oh well, they could. They probably won't, but they could.
I wouldn't have been upset if he died, but
yeah. But this was better.
This was definitely better.
Okay. Nice. Okay. Awesome. Okay. I have the overall pacing of this episode I thought was excellent, which you kind of touched on by saying there was no filler scenes, but there was also no rushing.
Yeah.
I thought there was no rushing. There was no lagging. Mm-hmm. Like, I mean, I can't think of specifics, but I know there's other series finales where they are like, they're trying to hit every single point. And so they're like, okay, well, this, and then you're like, oh, that was a lot, and then you're like, okay, well, good, well, there's still like 15 minutes left, and then the last 15 minutes is like really drug out, and you're like, but not even a lot like happens, and you're like, okay, like that's they jam pack the action, and then they like fill it with kind of nothingness or like random scenes where you're like, okay, now we need some more progression, like let's hurry this up, let's go. This episode was not like that at all. And then the storylines played out like in perfect timing of like the whole, like they find the killer, the judge, like the whole judge thing still did not feel rushed. Yeah. Even though it was at the end of that, and they could have easily like in the first, I don't know the timestamps, but like say the first 7 to 10 minutes, like, okay, the judge is over. Mm-hmm. I don't know what the timestamps are, but it feels like that is about like 20 minutes long. the whole judge thing is like 20 minutes long. Then it feels like 25. The whole Molly thing is like 10 to 15 minutes long, 10 to 12 minutes long. And so and then they have a montage, and they sum up the, like Randy's leaving, there's pictures of Molly, and then they do a montage, and then they show present day, everything. And that feels like 10-ish, maybe like 7 minutes or so. Like everything was just timed so well that it didn't feel like everything's happening and then nothing's happening. Or some series finales are like nothing is happening, and you're like, wow, they're really just making this like a regular episode, and then the last 5 minutes is like boom, 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 or like some time jump or something. Yeah, you know. And I just felt like it was really good. Like obviously the closure was great on everyone's stories and everything, but it didn't leave me like with questions or wanting more. Like, wait, so what? What had happened? Yeah. What was that? Like, hang on, rewind it. Yeah. Like, there was none of that. Everything was just nice little bow.
It was perfect.
It was perfect.
I really like this because I believe it's, like, right on par with Community's finale. Because I really love Community. It's my favorite show of all time. But I won't say anything about it. Let me just say
it's kind of unfortunate that I haven't seen it because I would love for you to get to talk about this. Yeah. But I'm watching it, so you can't. Yeah. So,
but I feel like both of the shows know exactly what they're good at and what they can do and can't do, and they really stuck to, like, they weren't too, I don't know, like, crazy about anything. And, like, same with, like, Community's finale, like, they just, like, it was a really not bizarre, it was, I don't know. They were just they stuck to what they were good at, and that's what made them such good episodes. Which I always rewatch that last episode. It's one of my favorites for sure.
Interesting. Okay.
And I will definitely have to rewatch this in a few years from now. Mm-hmm. It was.
Yeah, I don't know.
Great ending. Yeah.
I watched it a bunch. I watched it a bunch for this.
Yeah.
I watched it like 3 to 4, like 3.5 times. Mm-hmm. So it might be a little while before I see it just to have the feels again, but I'm sure I could watch it in a week from now and get the feels. Because it's really good.
I could be watching it right now and I'll cry. So. I just really loved the, at the very end, the present day, like you said, was so good. Like, Randy being the police chief with Sharona, and, like, the captain with his, like, great acting at the end where he's, like, he kisses Trudy on the forehead, or his Trudy on the forehead, and then he, like, sees Captain plus Trudy, and he like, looks up and he, like, smiles, and he goes to work. Oh, my God. It was beautiful. And apparently, and Andy Breckman said that, like, his wife came up with that, with the whole pillow.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
And I was like, wow, that's cool. That's really cool. And at the end where Monk, the captain, and Natalie are going to the crime scene, they all look so cool. Like, Monk isn't wearing his usual stuff. He's wearing, like, a sweater with, you know, his usual jacket. But he's wearing a sweater now. And Natalie's wearing, like, this bougie trench coat thing. And it looks really sick. And every time I watch that, I'm like, whoa, Natalie. Every time. But it was just a really good bow.
Yeah. Boom. And one thing that I didn't even mention, I feel like some things I'm like probably just skimming over, not even saying because they're like so like obvious, but like we obviously see that like Molly is the new Trudy in the sense that Monk's eccentricities and his phobias and stuff, they go down because he has someone to love, someone to depend on, someone there. And the fact that like in the end he's going to the movies and Natalie's like, oh my God, you're going to the movies. Oh my God. He's like, what's the big deal about going to the movies? He's like, well, you're just going to the movies. And he's like, I'm just gonna see what's ever in theater 10. And she's like, okay, all right, that makes sense. That's the Adrian Monk we know and love. And it's like so true, but it's like the reason that he's like that. And he's like wearing a sweater whenever he's like in the kitchen, he's just wearing his brown sweater. And then she's like, oh, the captain called, we got to go to a case. And he gets his coat and then they walk out and and then, yeah. And then they walk, you know, on the tarmac or whatever, and they walk into the apartment building or whatever the crime is, and Monk is like, doesn't look like this. Doesn't have his little button up on. He has a sweater and a coat and everything.
When has he ever wore that? Do you know what episode that's from?
When has he worn that?
Mm-hmm. Is it on a album thing? Or not an album thing? Like a promo?
I think he used to wear gray suits a lot. Mm-hmm. Oh, wait. Did he used to wear gray suits or brown suits more? I can't remember. He wears either gray or brown. So you got that, and then we're talking about our Monk poster. But we changed his shirt to pink because his shirts are usually white, and we didn't want it to be the same color as the background. That was the only reason we made it pink, yeah. It wasn't realistic. Yeah. Because it couldn't be white, because it would be too much white. But yeah.
Damn.
But yeah, I just have one last one, which we basically have said, which is the montage and then the present day, but the stove.
Oh, yeah.
The way they ended it with the stove and turned it off. He's like, oh, that happened to me once. I was all the way across town, and which I don't remember if he actually left the stove on. He didn't. Like, they never said that he did or did not. But he's like, oh, that happened to me once. And then he shuts the door, and then they pan. Like, it flashes white, and then they pan up because it's the original scene. Like, the very, very first scene ever. And so it, like, does the pan and then shows him touching the lamp and everything with the stove. So they tied it in. So good. So good.
So good. That was your last one, right? Mm-hmm. All right, I have two more. Montage at the end makes me cry every time.
God, so sad.
Reminds me of the end of Toy Story 4.
Because of Randy Newman?
Because of Randy Newman.
Yeah. Oh, no, I literally was in here taking notes when we were hanging out with Toby in there. I'm taking notes, and I'm, like, walking in there, and I'm singing You've Got a Friend in Me from Toy Story, and I'm like, I didn't hear that song. I just have Randy Newman.
Randy Newman is
on the brain.
A genius.
And I'm like, what is it? How does that song go? A little bit smarter too, baby. Now you know you never love me the way I do. 'Cause me and you are. And as the years go by, friendship will never die. Something, something, something. I don't know the words. I don't watch Toy Story that much. Continue. I'm butchering this.
Have you seen Toy Story 4?
Did we watch it together?
Mm-mm. I don't think so.
I
watched it with my mom.
I remember whenever Emma's friend came over and her roommate came over, Kara, and we all watched it on the big screen. Was that Toy Story 3 or 4?
No, it was probably 4.
This is the one with the doll. He goes into the doll store.
Yeah.
This is Toy Story 4?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, then I saw it. Oh, God, that's so sad.
It's
right?
so sad. And they're
like...
Yeah,
we're crying. We're all crying at the end.
They're like, goodbye.
Because does Buzz go back with them and
Buzz,
Woody stays?
I think Woody stays with the people at the end. Like the carnival people.
Yeah, or something.
With like Bo Peep.
Yeah.
It was like, howdy partner or whatever. Mm-hmm. And it's like, God friend. And then it's like really sad. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so sad. Anyways.
Randy Newman's got away, doesn't he? I know. He's got away.
For sure. Anyways, my last is it is definitely better than part 1.
Okay.
I definitely also do stand by my low rating on part 1. I'm not going to change that. I never will. I stand by it.
Okay. All right.
But this was definitely better.
Okay. All right. Okay, we had our first camera glitch. YouTube, sorry about that.
Yay, per usual.
We are back, and Noah, take it away.
Oh, Kandyce, what did you dislike about this episode?
Okay, I'm going to go start with Joel, right? It's on my sticky note.
Joel
Dennis.
McHale?
Oh my gosh, Joel McHale. Joel, you have the same name as Joel McHale.
Congratulations.
Noah loves you now. Okay, no, Joel McHale. Joel Dennis from Twitter. Okay, his only dislike, he said very nitpicky, was the tiling on the fountain where Monk goes to meet Molly. I noticed it. It's this really big, like, Aztec-y looking tile. and it's really bold.
Spanish.
I didn't hate it, but it was noticeable.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it was noticeable. So, just not his taste, I guess.
It's an only dislike. Okay.
His only dislike.
I only have
I'll give it to
3,
you.
so.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
What? Do you have lots?
I mean, I just write down nitpicky things when I can't find things. I write down like Joel and his tile, like nitpicky. So.
All right, go ahead.
Okay. I don't want to take yours. No more Julie.
Nope, I don't know.
Okay. No more Julie. Obviously we did see her in the first part, but they could have put her in this
For sure.
And then I'll go ahead and say my other one because it's kind of tied to that, and it's that in the montage there's no Benji.
Oh.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. I was like, ooh, that's a big
sad.
loss there. I say the justification would be that he's played by 2 different actors.
Mm-hmm. They wouldn't know which one to put.
Like if Benji obviously had been there like the whole time, they probably would have put like Kane Rashad, like because he would probably have stayed the rest of the time. Mm-hmm. But yeah, no Benji, and like as we know, like we don't discuss it at length or anything, but like. You like Julie, I kind of like Benji because of the puzzles and all that. Like, they actually, like, played games together. We don't really see that with Julie. Like, we see more of, like, a father-daughter-y type of bond between them. And Monk and Benji have... I mean, you could say father-son, but they play games together and
just
stuff.
Like
older brother, friends,
yeah.
something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think they could have, had him... Giving him his birthday present or,
That would be cute.
Something, him giving him the puzzle like
the big
here,
game
and then they dump the puzzles out and Monk's like this. I love that, like
Yeah.
Benji and his friend were testing him and stuff like that. I don't know. I think they had some cute scenes together, and I think they could have added
For sure.
that. So
Yeah.
that was both of that. No actual because honestly, if I'm being honest, there's only one snippet of Julie in the montage. It's when they're hugging in the first episode in the
so
red
tiny.
herring. Yeah, I know. She's so tiny. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. Not enough Julie and no Benji. That was a disappointment. That was actually a big one for me. The other ones are smaller.
My first dislike is kind of big, actually.
Okay.
I wish we could have had Rick over as an actual character. Maybe in, like, 1 or 2 more episodes before this. That, like, him being a known, likable person and being, like, trusted, kind of, and it would have been a bigger twist. For sure.
But you don't think, like, you don't want, like, well, I wish it was somebody else. I don't like him or whatever. Like, you're talking specific, like, no, that he was fine, just
fine.
in a different thing. I'm trying to think of, like, another character. Like, if you can, think of it like another character that's been on, like, the same amount of time. Like a Kevin Dorfman type character who's more of a staple, or like an Agent Grooms, where you're like, he's
randomly shows
like he's
up.
an FBI agent that kind of pops up.
Yeah.
Or like what about the guy in the fashion show? Remember Gordo? He's the medical examiner. He ends up being the criminal, and he's been in an episode. Right? It wasn't Mexico because that was in Mexico. Oh. That's that's Dr. Madero. He's the actual killer in that one. No, Gordo is he's literally a medical examiner, and I think it's the one where Mr. Monk gets fired, because Mr. Monk gets fired whenever he pushes the keys on the keyboard and pushes delete, and so all the things delete, and that's him, and he's like, what are you doing? And then, like, 2 seasons later, he's the killer. Not the killer, but, he's in cahoots with the fashion designer. You know what I mean? So, like, something like, are you saying, like, something like that? Like,
definitely maybe something that's down low, but also, like, oh, congratulations, Monk, on solving a case. Like, 2 or 3 times we've seen him.
I got an idea.
Okay.
Sorry, I got an idea and I thought it was a good one. And I couldn't hold back my excitement.
Ahead.
What if it was someone on the committee board that was in charge of reinstating Adrian Monk, and that was the reason that he hadn't gotten reinstated all these years, because one of the guy has been holding out and doesn't want him to be on the force.
That'd be cool.
Like if we see every once in a while, it's the we see the committee and we see like maybe the same committee rejecting him or like everyone else changes except for this one actor, but they don't make a huge deal about it. They're just like, because they all vote against him. Yeah. It's not just this one guy and you're like, oh gosh, it's obvious the guy that's voting against him. Yeah. It's like, there's 3 of them, or there's 4 people on the committee. They always all vote against him. And then maybe towards the end, like the badge, there's 3 that vote for him and 1 that votes against him. And you're like, what is up with this guy? Like the camping, and then he's like, oh, schmoozing. And it's like, he's the guy. And he's the one that killed Trudy. And he didn't want him reinstated, blah, 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 blah. They could have had like a similar thing, a similar storyline. They could have done the same exact thing. But it could have been the guy who's been holding Monk back from getting his badge. Then he gets his badge back and gets Molly. And
there really isn't.
I'm downgrading my score now because I think I could have written it better. I'm just kidding, guys. I'm just kidding. I thought that was clever. I am pretty smart.
I don't understand. Like, Trudy's case before now was, like, not needed. Like, nothing that we really learned with the 6-fingered man and, like, the old dude. I forgot his name. Frank Newman or whatever.
Frank Nunn.
Frank Nunn.
Frank Nunn is the guy who made
Newman.
Frankie Newman.
He's the guy who made the bomb.
And then you have the 6-fingered man.
6-fingered man.
Who planted the bomb. There's Warwick Tennyson is the guy in Manhattan when they go to see him and he's in the hospital bed and Monk turns off his machines. Okay. And the guy's like... And then he's like, this is me turning off your machines. And this is my wife, Trudy, who you killed, turning them back on. And the guy's like... And he... Okay. It's a really good scene. Everybody knows what I'm talking about. Do you know what I'm talking about or no?
I do. No.
Oh, okay. How do you not remember that? It was really good acting by that guy. I'm not making fun of him.
There just wasn't enough things that actually connected, in my opinion. Don't shoot the messenger.
Oh, well, I mean, also, we didn't see Dale the Whale again. That's a dislike.
We never saw Dale the Whale again. He's kind of gross. I don't really give him much.
I mean, I don't care, like, that we didn't see him, but just the, like you're saying, like, the mention of him. Like, oh, Dale the Whale, blah, blah, blah. And, like, Dale the Whale had nothing to do with it. Yeah. Yet he's, like, this big fat cat in the... I mean, honestly, that's kind of what they led you to believe this whole time was that Dale the Whale did have something to do with it. Yeah. That was your only real suspect. Like you said, I wish it was somebody that we knew. Dale the Whale would have been like the biggest, the most largest suspect. But yeah, so I get what you're saying. The Trudy storyline, not really relevant because they just put little tastes of it. Okay, this might be one that you disagree with. It's Natalie discovering the wipes. Okay. I thought that happened really fast. I know I said that nothing was rushed, but this might have been the only rushed little part.
She was like, I don't feel so good. I'm seeing spots. The wipes. The guy didn't pick up the wipes. It was on the wipes. Like,
relax.
Yeah, relax. Exactly.
That's my new line. Stole it from you. Relax. Yeah, I just thought that was a little bit rushed. Although I did love the fact that it was the wipes, and I love the fact that it was right in your face, and that he does pick it up with the pen, and boom. Oh. And you didn't notice it, and you don't notice that he does it. And even if you did, you're kind of sort of thinking like, well, yeah, because Mr. Monk obviously like looks like death. I don't want to catch what he has. And so you're like, okay. And then she's like, picks up the wipes. Oh my gosh. And I'm holding the wipes. Whatever. But that to me felt fast.
What if she was
They had to get Monk better fast and figure out how. And so, yeah.
What if she like freaked out and was like, oh, this would have been so much better. She freaked out and she was like, it's on the wipes. And then she accidentally threw the wipe in Steven's face and then Steven caught it and then immediately died. That would have been great, right, guys?
I was actually thinking of something more of like Steven getting sick with like, because Natalie's like always in the house.
Does he die in this?
Sure, keep listening. No, just like Natalie, because Natalie's like always in Mr. Monk's house. So you're like, yeah, she could touch anything and be poisoned. So it's kind of like, eh. But if they like did something like where they're like outside of the house and she offers Steven a wipe and then he uses it and then he gets sick, and you know what I mean? Then you go, wait, what? What's wrong with you? And then Steven looks at his hand and they're like, and then Natalie goes, it's the wipes.
Yeah.
Because Natalie didn't use, you know what I mean? It's. I feel
better.
like Natalie being in Mr. Monk's house, that's way too much of a coincidence. Like, you're like literally stomach cramping and you're like, I'm a detective now. Like, no. There's too many variables in that house.
Yeah, for
right?
sure.
Okay.
Definitely. Case closed. Steven should have died.
Noah, that's all Noah heard. I was like, wah, 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 and he's like, Steven died. He's like, Yeah, that is
Definitely
an astute observation.
Shut up. Okay. My next dislike is I hate Steven. Steven is dumb. I don't know. Rattling action would have been better. It says that. I'm not making this up. Steven is dumb.
So, okay. Interesting. So how does Natalie... Because we know Randy's storyline goes to New Jersey because of Sharona. Mm-hmm. So if Rattly action happens instead of Rorona action, then how does that? Then how does that? Oh, I was this close. I'm like, how does isn't it Shandy? I think it is Shandy.
Rorona.
I think it's Shandy. Yeah, it's not Rorona.
Shadily.
Anyways, how does that change what your outlook would be? Like, if you're just like, you can't just say like, oh, I wish they'd been together anyway. So that means Randy doesn't move and he doesn't get that job. He stays, and everything is pretty much normal because Randy and Natalie are together. No, I'm asking.
Okay, Captain Stottlemyre becomes. Oh wait, no. Natalie Teeger becomes Captain Teeger. Wait, fudge. I'm screwing this up. Okay, Captain Stottlemyre and Teeger end up together instead of Trudy. Because I hate Trudy. I hate Steven. We can knock them out in one go. I don't hate Trudy. Trudy's not that bad. But I do like Natalie more. And I hate Steven this much. More than I like Trudy. So, Captain Stottlemyre and Natalie end up together. And they're bougie. And they're cool. And everyone likes it. And everyone loves them. And everyone wants them to be them.
Can you imagine, like, the final scene, like, they're all three walking into the building, and then, like, the captain and Natalie are just like, and that would be extremely weird.
No.
Yes, it would.
No, they're all walking and they just like...
They would... Okay, this is the thing. And I know this would obviously, like, they would have to lay that groundwork more obviously than they laid the groundwork for Randy and Sharona. Because Randy and Sharona, obviously, like, that was seasons ago, but their flirt was like, The captain and Natalie are more subtle than that, I feel like. Well, I don't know. We've seen them pretty hardcore flirting. But, like, not with someone that they work with currently at the same time. So they would have to... I feel like they would have to be, like, a lot more subtle over a long period of time in order for that to come out and work. But I could see it. I have seen little Stottlemyre and Natalie vibes, but definitely not enough to justify, like, oh my gosh, Captain, I think I'm in love with you. Oh, we're gonna end up together or something like that. They would have had to have, like, laid that for a really, really, like, really long time. But okay, my next one is the capital punishment line. When they're literally in the middle of,
I thought
like,
that was funny.
he's like drawing the gun and he's like, I mean, I might bring up a sore subject here, but I often talk to Trudy, and she said that she was not a fan of capital punishment. I was like, this guy wants to die yesterday. What is wrong with this guy? He's literally in the middle of... I was like, this guy, the audacity. And then he calls... Then whenever, like, Monk's accusing him, he's like, oh, yeah, I remember her, like, claiming she was pregnant. She was pretty unstable, though. And then, yeah, and then he's like... And then he's like you're unstable, pretty much. Y'all have that in common. And then he's like, ah.
Yeah. I think you're talking to me, and I was like, what? was like,
that was like, his life just flashed before his eyes.
I almost dodged you and just...
I'm like, ah. Oh gosh, okay. Are you done?
I have Uno Mas, I believe.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I do. I would not be as chill as Molly was about me having a dad who is a world famous detective, and he wants to hang out with me all the time, and he's taking pictures of me all the time, and it's kind of weird, and I don't know, I'd be uncomfortable.
That's an interesting viewpoint, and I definitely can see that. However, she is 26, so she is, I mean, like, we're similar ages, and, like, not we're similar ages, I'm not talking to you, we're similar ages, and I just feel like, if you were adopted, like, because she went to an orphanage, so she essentially grew up with no parents. I mean, not no parents. She got adopted or whatever, right? But, like, like, oh, these aren't my real parents, so it's not like this big shock, like, I'm not ready for this. It's like, I've always kind of wondered who my parents were, and now both of her parents are dead. The judge is dead, and Trudy is dead. And this whole twisted thing, and it's like, and then you figure out, like, your dad is, you're not your dad, but, you know, that part of that triangle is your mother's husband, who she actually loved and everything, and the whole case. You would know everything. Like, you would know, like, I don't know if it would happen as quickly. Like, oh, I just got off the phone with Protective Services, and she wants to meet you. Maybe that was a little sped up.
Yeah.
But I think that once you, like, figured out, like, wait, who is this guy? And you're like, the famous detective and all this, like, you're like, wow, and his mom, or, you know, his wife died from a car. Like, oh my gosh, that's my mom. My mom died from a car bomb, and he's been trying to solve my mother's case for the past 12 years, and he did. Oh my gosh, like, you totally would. You totally would want to meet him. So,
for sure.
Okay, mine is super random, but the metaphors in this one, I didn't get, and I know it's probably me, you're like, really? You didn't get that? But it's just me. I didn't get the whole...
Really?
People thought he was digging the grave. Like, you thought he was digging his own grave.
I definitely thought he was digging it.
I didn't know he was looking for Wendy either. I didn't know why he was digging. I didn't know why he was digging.
I definitely thought it was like... I'm not going to say that. Never mind.
And then the other metaphor was the bed one, where Trudy comes to him and is like, scoot over or whatever. And then later, I get it whenever he, like, moves into the middle of the bed, but I just didn't really get the symbolism of it.
He's over Trudy. He doesn't love her anymore.
Exactly.
Nobody loves her anymore.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't really get, like, your saving group, because do single people sleep in the middle of the bed when you have, like, a queen size bed? Like, if you have a full size bed, you can, but, like, queen size, it's kind of like you have to, like, make a trek to get into the middle of the bed.
I'm in, like, a twin size bed, and
you still sleep on one side of it,
and I still sleep on one side of it.
You don't have a twin bed.
It's a full size, which means it's full of me. It's a fun size. So
yeah, those were just two metaphors I didn't really get. And I guess the digging of the grave isn't a metaphor. It's more of just like an alluding thing that I was like, I don't get why he's digging. So it wasn't that big of a deal. I was just like, yeah, I didn't get that. So I wrote it down. And then the case closed when Natalie's writing that on the box. I know. Sorry. I know. I don't know what happened.
His chin is broken.
Yeah, I don't know.
His chiseled jaw.
He's fallen, but I just don't remember. No. Anyways, remember at the end when Natalie writes, she says, "What should we write on this box?"
Yes.
Hello, what should we write on the box?
Case.
And he's like, case closed. She's like, okay. And then she's like, she writes case, and then when she writes closed, she's basically just like writing blah blah blah.
Case closed.
She was trying too hard to like mess up the E that she wrote the whole word wrong.
It was like unreadable. I watched it 3 times and I didn't notice what it was supposed to say any of the times.
Yeah. Not necessarily a dislike, but just like, what? It was obvious. What? What's that noise? The AC?
Oh. It wasn't hissing like that earlier.
And then, okay, and the other one, no, there was no real, here's what happened.
Okay.
Like, there was no final, like, here's what happened. You
I
blah,
didn't
blah,
even think
blah,
about
blah,
that.
blah, blah. Yeah, he didn't, like, say it. But, I mean, it also could have been, like, cliche and obvious or whatever. So I might be like, that wasn't appropriate to say. But it was, like, also, it's like, well, it's our one last time. Like, they threw in it's a gift and a curse. And it worked really well. So I feel like they could have said, here's what happened. And then it could have. But, anyway. And then my last one, which I kind of... This is one where... This is something that I remember from when I've watched it, when it came on, 10 years ago. That I remember this and what I was nervous about not knowing if it panned out or not, which is the Molly thing. I remember Monk being super clingy to Molly and being like, wait a second. So they just made somebody else for him to be like really dependent on and clingy and like obsess over and like, what? I do not get this. But I don't, again, like this was, 12 years ago? I was like in high school when this came out. So that was just my remembrance of it. And so like I said, I didn't remember like if I liked it, if it turned out well. So I remembered that scene of them on the beach and me being like, wow, he's like obsessive over her. But then I forgot all the words that she said and how quickly she was like, what? You can't quit. I can't let you do that. It's your job to help. Blah, 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 blah. And then he moves on and he's still a detective. I didn't remember any of that. Yeah. I remembered that one small part. And so I was like, this is what I remember. I remember this scene being like, what? They just made him like obsessed with this new girl? That's not right. But it totally turned out perfectly fine because it was very Monk of him to be that obsessive over somebody that fast. And then she's like, okay, well, we can't do that. And he's like, oh, okay. And then he also still has Natalie to balance him out, too. So it turned out. But that's what I had. So that's all my dislikes. They weren't too big. Honestly, the biggest disappointment was the no Benji thing. Because I really like Benji. And I feel like they showed a lot of Sharona.
Oh, yeah.
They showed a lot of Sharona. And so I was surprised that they didn't show Benji. But...
I have one final dislike about us and our podcast. While you were saying that, I just realized that we could have called likes and dislikes a gift and then a curse. Gifts and curses. That's all I'm saying.
How would you even word that?
Because it's a gift and a curse.
What were the gifts in this episode?
Yeah.
What were the curses?
It's a gift and a curse.
In this episode. Okay, it's cute.
I thought it was cute.
It's cute enough.
Thank you, God.
Okay.
He's the guy. Welcome back to my favorite episode and yours where he's the guy. Starring Little Monk.
What?
Oh, God.
What? Okay, I'm assuming that you don't have anyone.
Okay, so in the very ending scene, I don't know if you caught it or not, but Tony Shalhoub. No, Andy Breckman.
Oh my gosh, this is a good one. Go ahead.
Was at the very final scene. Was it the very final scene? It was the very final scene. Andy Breckman, his little bald head, and he's getting pushed into a police car.
He's like arrested. Like he already has handcuffs on.
He has.
He's really, really small.
He's really small because it's like Natalie, Monk, and the captain walking into the room or walking into the crime scene or whatever. And this guy's like, it pans out from them, so it's like they're pretty big, and then it just pans way out, and then like in the corner of the screen you can see a guy getting put into a car, and then we were watching the como se dice, what is it called? Commentary about it, and Andy Breckman was like, that's me. Yeah. And we're like, what? It's crazy.
It was pretty cool. That's a good one. I like that you said that.
And Molly Evans is named after Andy Breckman's children. And if you caught it, Molly Evans' parents' names were Andy and the other girl's name, his wife's name.
Beth.
Andy and Beth.
And it was Andrew.
Andrew and Beth Evans. And she's Molly Evans because his daughter is Molly and his son is Evan. Molly Evans, Andrew Evans, and Beth Evans.
That is true.
That is a really cool Easter egg, in my opinion.
And then, so there's a joke where when Monk is taking the photos of Molly and he's showing the photos to the captain, he's like, oh, and these are her parents. This is Andy and Beth. Andy's a retired ophthalmologist. He's a little overweight, but like, so they were taking a dig at Andy Breckman, and it was really cute. It was really cute. Okay, so Mikey's the guy. I didn't say it last time because, for one, I was just kind of saving at least one person. I didn't want to draw attention to the judge very much, but you had him anyway, so I didn't write him down. But it was Craig T. Nelson. He's from Young Sheldon. I know some people watch Young Sheldon. And he is famous from the TV show Coach, which is why in the commentary, Andy Breckman at the end, and he's like, oh, we killed Coach. Because he shoots himself. And Andy Breckman is like, oh, we killed Coach. Because, like, everybody knows him as that.
As Coach?
As his name is Coach Hayden Fox. And he was on, like, the whole series. Because he's Coach. So.
That would make sense.
Yeah. And then I know him from Parenthood. He plays Zeke Braverman. So Parenthood is like, there's this show on NBC. I know I've mentioned it on here, but I haven't, like, explained it before. Parenthood to me is like a Modern Family, but a drama. So you know how Modern Family has like this set of family, this set of family, this set of family? Well, he is like the Jay Pritchett.
Oh, okay. But they're just like
It's dramatic. Of funny? Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. So he's Zeke Braverman, and it's like about the Braverman family, but like I said, they have different branches of it or whatever. But he was on 103 episodes. That's where I know him from. And then I wrote down Molly Evans because I didn't recognize her, but I did. She did such a great job. I wanted to like point out who she was. So she was actually born October 20th, 1983, which is the same year that she was supposed to be born.
Okay.
In the episode. So I thought that was cool. But her name is, I don't know if I'm saying it right, but Alona Tal. She is an Israeli-American singer and actress. Yeah. She's in stuff that's, like, not English. I don't know.
It's a weird explanation.
What do they speak? Hebrew? I don't know what Israeli people, what their language is called.
What is the national language of Israel?
Oh, yeah, I said that weird. Hebrew. Arabic.
And Arabic. Ha,
yeah,
idiots.
It could be one of the other. I don't know. But she was in a bunch of stuff that was from, like, a different country. Israel.
Wow.
So I thought that was interesting. She's currently acting. Her last two credits were from 2021. So I thought that was interesting as well. But she has acted on 8 episodes of Burn Notice, 7 episodes of Supernatural, an episode of Pretty Little Liars, Lie to Me, Seventh Heaven, and then what I probably should recognize her from, but don't, is Veronica Mars. She was on 10 episodes of Veronica Mars. So
have we still not figured out what she is?
I mean, I just didn't look into it. I haven't seen Burn Notice or Supernatural, but I know those are really popular shows. And Burn Notice is a USA show, like Monk.
Oh,
so
USA TV show that
we are not watching Burn Notice.
I've heard of it.
He's the astronaut
on Burn Notice.
Not the astronaut on Burn. No, Mr. Monk and the astronaut.
Who?
Mr. Monk and the astronaut. Okay. The guy who stars, and his name is Jeffrey Donovan. I was going to say Jeffrey Dahmer. I was like, that is not it. Think harder, Candace.
Jeffrey Donovan.
Think harder. Jeffrey Donovan, who stars in Burn Notice. He's Mr. Monk and the astronaut. Okay. Anyway, so that was Molly Evans, Alona Tal. Okay, and then I also had to just write this down and just reiterate it because the performances were so amazing. Tony Shalhoub in the Trudy scene, and the Judge scene, and the Molly scenes, and Traylor Howard in the Trudy scene also, and in the poisoning scene. I know I said that it was rushed, but I still thought it was really good acting when she's like, "Ugh, I'm seeing spots. Oh my gosh." I was like, "Oh my gosh, Traylor is gonna die." Okay. And then Ted Levine in the hospital scene where he's lying to him and then they grab each other's hands. It's like, "You're lying," and he's like, "I know." And then the pillow scene. You mentioned the pillow scene.
The pillow scene.
That was so funny. It was literally like he's walking through. He kisses Trudy before he leaves. Well, he knows her as TK. So he's like, oh, I'm kissing TK. And then he walks into the living room and he sees the pillow and it says Leland and Trudy. And then he like just looks and he's like, so weird.
Yeah.
And walks out. Such a good, like, oh my gosh. Like, that's your final, like, little goodbye. Oh my gosh. Nailed it.
For real.
And then the last thing I wrote is the actors, which I didn't write the names.
Nice.
I could guess their names. We have like in the montage, like who we saw in the montage.
Okay.
So we had Ambrose, played by John Turturro.
Okay.
We had Dr. Kroger, played by
Stanley Campbell.
Julie,
played by Amy Clark.
Harold Crenshaw,
played by John Turturro.
Tim Bagley.
Oh, I knew that one. Dang it.
Yeah, I don't know these other ones. I don't know Kevin Dorfman.
Oh, you don't know that one?
Mm-mm. You don't either.
John Turturro.
I don't know who plays Kevin Dorfman.
Who plays Kevin Dorfman in the hit USA TV show Monk?
I should know this. Gerard Paul. Is it Gerard Paul? That sounds right. I think it is.
How do you spell Gerard Paul?
JARRADPAUL?
Yes.
Okay, I don't know the next one though.
Okay.
His dad.
Who plays his dad? Oh shit.
Adrian Monk's dad. It's spelled weird. Like his last name is like HYDEADAE or something. Did we ever mention on this show? I'm sure we did that Columbo was in the works to play. Like they wanted Columbo to play
his dad,
but he wanted too much money. Oh. I think I said that.
Chuck Monk Jr.
Also, did we ever mention that Stottlemyre has a hairpiece? That Ted Levine has a hairpiece? Or the bugs? Those are bugs.
No, we did not.
That Ted Levine has a headpiece?
Never even knew.
Do you remember in the episode where Sharona rips off the guy's toupee? She jumps on his back and rips it off. They were originally going to use that as Stottlemyre. It was in Stottlemyre's toupee. Because he has one.
He's bald?
Yeah. He's bald in Big Sky.
You just ruined the show for me.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, the crickets. Oh my
They're
god.
locusts. I'm sorry. Was that too much to handle? Okay.
Why?
I figured on our last He's the Guy could spill the beans.
What in the heck was the point of doing that?
I don't know. I just thought of it. He's bald in Big Sky. I want to say that the guy who plays Monk's dad is David.
Dan.
Is it Dan?
Dan.
H-Y.
Schneider. Oh.
Dan Schneider. What are you talking about?
It's
Did you
Dan.
look it up or not?
It's Dan.
It's Dan Haida. What are you doing? Why are you doing that? They're not crickets. They're cicadas.
Okay, I figured that out, so I had to look up. The top comment is, my girl thought she was funny, so I had to play this real quick.
Oh my gosh, this is going off. Okay.
Dan, you can do this, Candace.
It's like, I don't know how to pronounce it. It's like Haida. Is it not H-Y?
Harmon.
It's not Harmon. It's H-Y-D-E-A or something.
Wait, give me a sec.
It's literally not that hard to look up, I swear.
Dan Hedaya.
Spell it.
Hedaya.
Hedaya. Yeah. See, I don't...
Idiots.
I was close.
All right,
and I said David.
Keep going.
Dr. Bell.
Dr. Bell is Hector Valnumenez. Elizondo.
Okay, softball. Sharona Fleming.
Biddy Shreya.
Oh my gosh.
She's such a satisfying name. Biddy Shreya.
I know.
Okay, is that it?
Yeah, that's it. You did pretty good.
Like 2 out of 4.
I was close with David Haida.
Hedaya.
But it was Dan Haida. Whatever. I don't know how to say his name.
Hedaya.
Okay, that's it, guys, for He's the Guy. I'm done.
That's it?
Mm-hmm.
Junk Dive! Welcome back to my favorite time of years in the show, where it's one of the last ever junk times. I already ate my junk.
That's a you problem.
What the heck? I didn't mean to. All right, Candace, what are the questions you have for me today?
Well, I didn't have a lot of questions, but so what we were gonna do? Oh, how about you can open Fabi's gift?
Fabi Hernandez.
Okay, tell him the backstory though. How we couldn't open it on him.
So, 12 years ago, my wife, she gave me this gift, right? This is Trudy's gift, but my version. Thank you, Fabi. What episode did she give this to us on?
I don't know. She sent it a long time ago, and we were gonna
blur this.
We
out.
were gonna open it. Well, they can send stuff to us.
You don't have to blur this out.
We were gonna open it a long time ago, and then right before we were gonna open it, it was a camping episode.
Camping episode. I remember that.
Yeah, and then she was like, "Wait, there's a spoiler in that, so don't." And so I was like, "Oops."
Oh my god.
So now the time has come to open it.
It's gonna be like $700. If it isn't, I'm gonna be mad. Have you opened it?
Mm-mm.
That's cap.
No, I haven't opened it.
What if it's like a car bomb? She's like, it was a spoiler. It won't open.
Mr. Monk and the Sleeping Suspect.
I'm so excited. Oh. Come on, I can do this. Oh my god, there's stuff in here. There's actually stuff in here. I'm sorry, Fabi. I don't know how to open things.
It's obvious.
Shut up. It's obvious.
Ooh, got him.
Oh.
I can't with this.
Cheers. Fabi. Okay. Clean. Okay. Clean. Dirty.
So that is a dishwasher magnet. So show the people. I don't know if you can
That's
get that
so
close.
clever.
It's a dishwasher magnet. So you put it on the front of your dishwasher, and when your clothes are clean or they're dirty, you flip it over.
That's genius.
To let people know the dishwasher.
I'm using this. I literally always have to ask my mom, is it clean or is it dirty? Oh my god. This is actually kind of genius.
That's funny, right? It's so cute.
It is funny. It's him. It's John Newman.
What?
Frank Anon. What's his name?
Craig T. Nelson.
Craig T. Nelson, who
Judge.
played Judge Ethan Rickover.
Yeah, there you go.
And guess who this is? Adrian Monk, played by Tony Shalhoub. So it says clean and dirty.
Cute, right? Isn't that cute?
It's so cute. What else stick to? And stick to that.
Don't stick it to a computer, because you're not supposed to do that.
Oh.
It ruins it. Does it stick to the microphone? The front of it? Or no? Probably not.
Did not do that.
It did not.
I'll put it on my phone.
Will that mess it up? That might mess it up.
Probably.
I wouldn't do it. Don't. You're not supposed to stick magnets to electronics. Even though we just tried to with the microphone. You ruin your phone? Okay, well, just forget it.
I won't do it.
Okay, so our viewer's voice obviously has been going throughout. We have a couple more of Joel stuff coming up, so be on the lookout for that.
Joel?
Stop.
Joel Kale?
I can't with you. Oh my gosh. I can't with you. Okay. So Noah and I, like he said before, we watched the commentaries for part 1 and part 2, and we jotted down some interesting stuff from the commentaries. So really quick, Noah is going to talk about part 1, and then I'm going to talk about part 2. So Noah, what cool stuff did we find in the commentary part 1?
Part 1, we found out that Steven was, like, from the writer's perspective, was supposed to be the number 1 suspect. Me and Kandyce didn't really, like, kind of fall for it, but he was supposed to be the number 1 suspect.
However, when we were watching the watch party with you guys, the first thing that Toby said whenever Steven popped up was like, oh, he's the guy.
Yeah.
He's the... Toby had seen it before, so he was joking. But he was like, really? Monk doesn't get sick, but as soon as Steven shows up, Monk gets all sick. And I thought that was funny. I almost typed it, but I kind of forgot. And then when they said that on the commentary, I was like, no way. That's what Toby said.
Yeah.
Because it makes
it
sense. It did make sense.
Yeah.
That he was only sick because, like, when he was there.
Made sense. The cast and crew held Tony down. Oh, okay. So whenever Monk is like struggling to take a shot or whatever, not his shot.
His shot.
Whenever he's getting his blood drawn or whatever, the entire cast and crew is around him. So it's not just like random extras who are like holding him down. It's the entire cast and crew, which not the entire cast and crew.
Yeah, no.
Not
Just
the-
some of
not
the
the
people.
cast.
There's some background people.
Most of the crew.
Yeah. I will say though, also Joel, who's doing our viewer's voice, he mentioned that. I forgot about that. He mentioned that I think it was in one of his likes, but it was part 1, so I didn't say it. Because the shot thing was in part 1. He said, I always wondered if that was the crew, a way to get the crew in on the final episode. The people holding them down. You were right, Joel. That is exactly what they did.
Joel is a Mick genius.
A Mick Hale.
I did it wrong. Oh! Okay. Anyways, in the train station, that entire scene was like random people. It was all voluntary.
They had 70 background people, and the rest were
All
passengers.
random people who they asked to be in it. Were like, hey, do you want to be in this up and coming series finale? And they're like, oh my god, yeah. And then so they were just like, all right, run. And then they're like, ah! It was crazy. It was pretty good.
And then he said they had to stop, like, they had to calm people down because people were starting to, like, fall and, like, push each other down. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
The longest hallway ever. Remember when the doctor in part 1 is, like, walking down the hallway? That was the final scene ever shot.
And it was in part 1.
Monk and the gang and the crew, and that's the last thing they shot, which makes zero sense to me. Why would they?
Because they choose them based off location and convenience of location. So if they need to shoot things, whatever. So like maybe they shot like because they were also in the hospital for other times, like when he's in the bed and stuff. Mm-hmm. But this scene's in part 1. But he said that was like the last thing they shot because they had the cake. Remember they said they had the cake waiting off after that scene.
Oh, for Tony. Because it was his birthday.
It was his birthday, but I think the cake was for the wrap though. Or was it? It probably was
birthday.
It probably was for his birthday. You're probably right.
Okay, so my next one is Andy Breckman didn't even check if knowing like the poison was accurate. So he didn't really know anything about the poison.
Or like a lot. He said that a lot actually.
Yeah.
Like if they only knew how little research we did about this stuff,
Yeah.
I was like they didn't know like.
It's like, oh, there's a cure. We have 2 hours, and they just like kind of made that up.
Yeah. Or like what would happen. Tony said they did do research on like ricin poisoning or whatever, like what would actually happen to you, but not like how fast it could be cured, how long it would take, and what like if you could actually live that many days after being poisoned or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah. What else you got?
I think I only have 2 more.
Okay.
Andy Breckman saved the poisoning storyline for the finale for 8 years. So, like, near the beginning of the series, he was like, oh, Monk gets poisoned. We could use that for the final episode.
Yeah.
It's pretty interesting.
Yep. I thought so, too. Okay, and then part 2, some of the fun facts that we found was, one was the rain scene where he's holding the gun at the judge at gunpoint. There you go. That scene took 8 hours. 8 hours to film. That was crazy. And
So
they said
they're
like
in water for 8 hours.
yeah, and they said that like the grass, they said it was all green. And then, like, after, like, an hour, it was just sloshed and muddy the whole time. And then the scene where Randy and the captain are in the car chase and Randy's driving. So, for one, they're driving around the same block over and over again.
Yes.
But that Randy's driving and Jason is not actually driving. There's a stunt driver on top of the car who's actually rigged. They rigged the steering wheel so the driver could sit on top of the car. And they had 11 different stunt drivers. It's like... I'm guessing that was for, like, the other cars in the scenes?
Yeah,
not
probably.
for one car.
Yeah.
That seems excessive. I also have that... the scene where they're doing the committee hearing for the judge, and he's like, oh crap, his pants moment. Andy Breckman just pulled, like, an actual Senate hearing off the internet.
Oh, yeah.
And just used the direct dialogue from it and just put it in there. It's like, yeah, it didn't matter what they were saying, so I just, like, stole it off the internet. I was like, oh my gosh, that is crazy. And then he also said that he knew that years ago, to, like, sum up Trudy's case, that he would need a part of Trudy. Like, he didn't know exactly, like, that it was going to be, like, Molly or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
But he knew that it had to be, like, a part of Trudy had to be there in some aspect. He also said that he kept the script so under wraps about Molly, like, closed lip. He didn't want anyone to figure out that he literally, like, when he sent the scripts out to, like, the actors and the directors and everything, that he had, like, X's over a bunch of stuff that they couldn't even read it. It was just, like, a bunch of stage direction. And that also... his Molly, like, there was a girl, but her name wasn't Molly. She wasn't related to Adrian. It was actually Natalie's niece that they put that, like, I don't know what the significance of it was. He was like, yeah, I think I put Natalie's niece just to, like, throw everybody off.
What?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. And they also said they took 2 scenes. They only did 2 scenes of the Molly scene where he's crying, like Tony Shalhoub was crying. That was his birthday, is what I wrote down. Oh. That day was his birthday. I think the cake was for the rap. Okay. Like actual rap. Okay. But they said that he nailed it the first time and everyone was like, holy crap. That was really good. And so they just did it one more time and they were done. And then the writer's room is in Summit, New Jersey. So that's why they gave Randy the job in Summit, New Jersey as a little nod to them. Mm-hmm. They also had a scene where Monk was going to quit at the end. Like, you know, he says that he's going to quit to Molly, but they had a whole scene where he was going to quit and then they ended up scrapping it. And then, like you had said already, Andy was in the closing scene. And then the last thing was that they all cried. At the end, they were all tearing up. Tony Shalhoub and Andy and Randy Zisk were all teary-eyed.
During the commentary, yeah.
Yep. During the Molly scene, they all were tearing up. And then the montage. Yeah. It was really sad. I cried more after watching them talk about it and cry than, like, the other times I watched it. Because it was, like, it was them. You know? It was their life and their baby and stuff, so... And watching Tony watch himself was just trippy and weird, too.
Yeah, I was sick.
But, okay. My last things were, I was going to ask you just a couple of, like, quick questions, which is, when Trudy said that the baby had died, did you think anything about that? Did you just like, nope, she died, right?
She died.
When the judge said, take care of her, and then shot himself?
Oh, yeah. I thought he was talking about, like, his wife.
Oh, whose wife?
The judge's wife. He didn't have a wife?
Oh,
he had a wife.
He did, yeah.
Okay. I thought he meant take care of her, his wife.
Interesting. Okay, did you have any thought, guesses, inclinations about the wipes?
Nope.
No?
Nope. I was completely in the dark about this episode, I'm not gonna lie. I was bamboozled. I've been fooled.
And in the part 2, before they found the cure, did you think that Monk still might die at any point? Or did you kind of nix that in your head?
Whenever they were like, we have the cure. Yeah, I nixed that for sure. There was no...
Like, okay, say, like in the scene where he says, kill him. I need you to kill him.
Oh.
And they cried. Did you still think that he was going to make it? Or did you think he was going to die?
I don't remember.
No, you don't remember?
I don't remember at all. If I'm being honest.
Okay. The last thing that I had was... So, Lindsay Chambers, she had posted this picture and she tagged us in it So you know our Funko Pops.
I do know our Funko Pops.
I thought I took a screenshot of this. Where's my screenshot? Oh, here it is. So our Funko Pops right here. We have Benji and Julie and me and Noah. Adorable. Well, she made more. Like she made more.
Oh yeah.
Right in the past, but she she didn't show this one.
It's Molly.
Yeah, so she said also reposting this because now Noah knows who Molly is. So it's super cute. Maybe I'll put it up there. But
oh my god, that's awesome.
so it's a little Funko Pop of Molly Evans. So I thought that was cute. And then one just last thing is Melissa Byrne, I think, or Bernie or Byrne. She has a YouTube channel where she does like rewatches. And I know some of you probably have already watched this before, but she did an episode on the pilot episode, like an episode of her show about the Monk pilot where she watched it, and it's like a reaction video.
Yeah.
That's what it's called, right? Reaction video. And then she did one like last week, Mr. Monk Takes a Vacation, and I just had a really fun time watching that and like reminiscing about it, and I just really enjoyed it. So I thought I would just share her channel, and she has, Monk is one of her like lower viewed things. And so I figured that I'd just give her a shout out, help her get some views on those because we all know Monk is awesome and it deserves more views than all of her other videos. So I figured that I would share that with you guys. Go give it a like and comment. She asked like what your favorite episodes were and like which ones you would want to see her do. So go give her a comment. I think that's it for junk time.
No!
I think that's it.
Plot holes. Where's my favorite one? Is the nowhere.
It's not even your favorite time. I don't know why you do that. Okay, let's get Joel's first. He says in Mr. Monk and Sharona, they say that he can't sleep without his Trudy pillow. Mm-hmm. But in the hospital, he didn't have it until he was already like cured. And so he said, was he not sleeping in the hospital or what? Because it's either a plot hole one way or the other. He either has a Trudy pillow or he can't sleep without it.
Yeah.
So, which he did say that if he was dying, he might not be able to sleep either. So, that's also true.
True.
So, all right. Thank you, Joel. And I will go first. Let's see if I have any. I don't think. I mean, there probably were some callbacks, but let's see. We had stunt doubles. Of course, we talked about this in the where they're in the thing. They have the pews. I call them pews, and they zoom out, and Monk and the judge are fighting.
Yeah,
that's not them. Definitely not them. And then actually, all the rest of mine are kind of plot holey. Do you have any plot holes at all, or no?
I do. I have one.
You have one?
I had two, but one of them I don't really know about anymore. It's the one with like 12 years ago, 15 years ago. That one, but
no. I
don't know how to explain.
No, that is one.
I have no idea.
No, people would know though. We'll explain.
I don't get it anymore.
Okay. We paused it and talked about it for a long time. I think we figured out it was more simple than we thought. It was the timeline of like when Trudy actually had the baby.
Yeah.
Because she says that it was 15 years ago. So if we're going, say, we know Tony Shalhoub / Monk, because he had his 50th birthday. So in 2009, Monk had his birthday. So we minused like 12 years from that because Trudy had died 12 years ago. Well, she died in 1998.
Okay.
So then you minus 15 years from 1998 because she said that was 15 years ago, and then that would have been 83 when she was when Molly was born. But the point was that it was supposed to have happened like when Trudy was in college 15 years ago, but it was like something like if you minus Monk's age, then Monk was like 26. Mm-hmm. Was it 26 or was it 23? I think it might have been 23.
Okay. Oh yeah, I was 23.
It was 23, but you graduate college when you are 22 or 23. And we saw in the flashback Monk and Trudy are in the same grade in Mr. Monk in the Class reunion. They're in the same grade, so they would have had to have literally met like after Trudy had already given birth at the very like end of their senior year or something in order for that to technically happen before they met.
The only way it would have like actually made sense if it was like freshman year or
sophomore year because you're pregnant for 9 months. So
yeah.
And she said it was her law professor. Like, but Trudy wasn't a lawyer. So she didn't go to law school. She was a journalist. But yeah. So she didn't go to law school. So it wasn't after that. But yeah, so that was, if anybody else has a good timeline on that, like let us know. That's just the math that we did, that they were supposed to have met. This was supposed to happen before they met, and it probably most likely with the timeline, that's not plausible. So, but that was a good one. You came up with that. Like you were like, wait a second, what? That math can't add up. And so we did the math. So good job on that one. It's just
so hard for me to explain every time.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
It's like 15 years ago, 12 years ago, but then Monk's age and then her age. And it's like,
and then Toby was trying to help and he was halfway paying attention. And we were like, Toby, shut up.
Yeah.
Your math doesn't make any sense.
Exactly.
So I have the wipes. Mm-hmm. You said this while we were watching it. Nobody checked the wipes.
Nobody checked the wipes. Why? Por qué?
Why would nobody check the wipes? That doesn't make any sense at all. Mm-hmm. We have the bones. He's digging, and there's like this big metal clank. He's digging. It's like clank.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, whoa! I thought he had hit a metal box.
Same.
And then they showed a human head, and I was like, what? That doesn't
make that
sound. And then he did it again. It clanked again when Randy was digging, and I was like, nope, that doesn't make sense. Also, who initials their barbells? Somebody said this on the watch
party.
Denise
said that. Denise from Tony Shalhoub Daily.
Bam. Got him. Yeah, who does that? I
mean,
I could see the type of barbell, like how it was like pretty and like stainless steel looking, but like
when you go to the gym and you bring your own equipment, you don't want it to get stolen, but it's like
I didn't think about that. That's a good point.
My equipment.
I didn't think about that. Huh. Okay. This one's very plot holey. It's a plot hole. But that was a pretty large hole that the judge was able to dig without like nothing happening to Monk. Like nobody trying to like stop him or take him down or anything. Like he just like keep digging, and the officers are just like,
yeah, they're not gonna like.
And the guy just digs this giant hole.
For like how long was he doing that? An hour?
Yeah.
There's
8
way
hours.
He did it in, yeah. Exactly.
8 whole hours. That is unrealistic. No, yeah, I just thought that was a really big hole.
Yeah. My final plot hole.
Okay.
And second to only one. Is this is definitely a different parking garage than before.
Oh yeah.
Like before in the series, it was like in the middle of a underground like parking garage. And there was like walls around everything. And this time she was like running and she was in her heels. And before it was like in the middle of the parking garage. Very middle of the parking garage. And then this one she was like running pretty slowly. Pretty dramatically. Like, I'm Laura Harden. I'm bad at acting. And then, she turns at her car. But it's like at the end of like, there's like bushes there. And it's at like the end of the parking garage. And they said it was filmed at the Paramount parking garage. Which is kind of cool. But... And then she gets there, and then it blows up, and it's right outside. You can see the bushes right there. But it's not the same parking garage whatsoever. Nowhere near the same parking garage. Got him.
Very true, Noah. Nice catch.
Thank you.
Okay, I put, it was really theatrical. This is also about the digging, but why doesn't Monk explain why he's digging? Like they have their guns drawn on him, and he's like pointing.
There's a body in there, so
yeah, he killed so and so. Because I feel like the point is like you're supposed to like it's theatrical. You don't know like what he's doing and is he gonna kill the judge or what is he gonna find? And it's again very theatrical for us as the audience. But why doesn't he just tell them he's a murderer? He killed my wife. He killed this blah 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 and. He's digging and you know what I mean? Like he says that here's what happened after the captain gets there and after they find the bones, but he could have just said it before. Is that thunder? What is that noise?
I don't like thunder.
Storms are coming. Okay. So then let's see, what else do I have? Remember how Monk figures out about Molly? He's looking in the paper and he's like, Wendy Stroud was in the newspaper. It was like she made headlines 15 years ago for taking a baby to an orphanage.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
Is that news? To take a baby to an orphanage?
That is news?
And
who puts that in there?
And if it's news, Trudy, who's a writer, didn't see the news, the headlines. Baby takes.
That was good.
That's good, right?
That was
really good. Is that not really good?
That's good, yeah. Trudy was a writer. Eastbury Chronicle.
And she just had a baby. And Wendy Stroud, her name specifically, she took a baby to an orphanage.
Yeah.
Trudy be like, what?
Exactly.
That's my baby.
That's my baby. That's my baby, honey.
That's my baby.
That's my baby.
Why my baby? Where's the hoochie pop? Nobody gets that reference. It's okay. Okay, I have a Stoddy Plotty. Our last Stoddy Plotty ever.
Well, I mean, we kind of had one earlier.
No, but this is the last one.
Dumbbells, but okay, whatever.
No, but this is the last one.
Okay, God, it's the last one.
Let me make sure. It's the last one. Okay, Stoddy Plotty. No one told him about Sharona? Randy didn't tell him about Sharona. That's one thing. But when Monk and Natalie saw them kissing, they never mentioned.
Oh, yeah, because Stoudemire was like, you and Sharona. Hey. That's my Stoudemire voice. You and
Sharona. No, that was literally my voice. With my hand covering up. Noah.
This is like Obama.
It's your Obama voice. Okay, I can see how you get the two mixed up. No, but seriously, nobody told him about Sharona.
Yeah.
Like, I will say in the commentary, remember they said that the Sharona episode was scheduled to go right before the end.
Right before the end.
So would that track maybe if he had written that line, like he wouldn't have known because it was supposed to happen before, you know? Like they hadn't had enough time to tell him. It hadn't been a few weeks or whatever. So maybe that's the point. Okay, and then my next one is can you explain it to me maybe? How did Monk drug that guard?
I have no idea. Here's these pills. You want to
try them?
You want to have some?
The cop is leaned back. He has a lemonade
in his hand.
It's like this. Well, it's not necessarily. I mean, it's dead weight in his hand, but it's like, so are we supposed to believe that he drank his own lemonade that was still in his hand with the lid on? Like Monk crushed them up and put them in his lemonade, or like, how did he get his lemonade? Or
who gave him this lemonade?
And I'm stressing the lemonade is because what else would he drank? Like, if Monk crushed him up into water, why would the guy drink the water? He has a lemonade in his hand. So, and he was drinking it too. It was like they made a point to like show him drinking it at one point, and then they should have showed it like next to him, opened or something.
Yeah.
Like he drank it and fell asleep. Or I mean, I guess you could drink it and you're not gonna like die. Like it's not like, ugh. You drink it, close the lid, and then you fall asleep, and then you wait for him to fall asleep. But how does Monk get pills into this guy's lemonade? Yeah. I thought he did. I was like, holy crap.
Yeah.
Forget the judge. He already committed murder.
He crushed up all the pills and then just like put like 9 or 10 of them into one of his lemonades. And that way he just overdosed.
Can you imagine? He's like, oh my gosh, this guy's been drugged and he's actually dead. Monk is in prison at the end for... What if that's how it had ended? Oh my gosh. Like, he actually kills the judge and they put him in jail. And they're like, extenuating circumstances, you're going to get 9 years for manslaughter. And then Monk's like, can you make it 10? And then they like make it 10. And then he's in prison for 10 years. And then he comes out.
And then Molly's a grown woman.
Man, this ending sucks.
Yeah.
I'm not good at this.
God.
Scrap everything we've ever said. We suck at this.
Um.
Okay, I have one more. My last one is, why did the judge kill Trudy?
Oh yeah, you said that.
We had discussed this before too.
Yeah.
So really quick, just like he killed Wendy Stroud because she had found Jesus or whatever, and so she was gonna tell like what about the baby and Trudy and everything, but this was 12 years later. Mm-hmm. So if he had just killed Wendy Stroud, I don't think that Trudy would have thought like, oh my gosh, she went missing. I bet it's Ethan Rickover. It was 12 years later. She could have been missing for any other reason. I don't see the connection where Rickover goes, I have to kill her now too. I don't get it. And then also my last thing is he kidnaps her, I guess, right? Or he didn't kidnap her. He murders her. Buries her. And then his other MO is killing Trudy with a car bomb. That's a very elaborate way to murder someone.
That's true. Why don't you just kill her like Wendy?
Yeah, why didn't he just kill her like Wendy and bury them next to each other?
You're right.
I don't know.
Makes no sense.
I mean, I know he hired a hitman, and so the hitman did his own thing. But I just thought, that's an elaborate way to
I didn't even think about that.
murder somebody.
That's a good. That's
Yay!
a good one.
I got a high five for my last plot hole ever.
Yay. How crazy was Monk this episode? Plus crazy moment.
Okay, Joel is going with, out of 10, sleeping pills.
Ooh, out of 10 sleeping lemonades.
Spiked lemonades. Okay, what are you going with?
Out of 10 desk Sharona pictures.
Oh. Or
out of 10 bougie Natalie coats.
Okay.
Or
that's cute.
Out of 10 Leland plus Trudy pillows.
Oh, I like that one. That's my favorite one. Okay, I put out of 10 poison wipes.
Okay.
Out of 10 photos of Molly.
Okay.
And my favorite one was out of 10 yard sale sirens. We both did good on that one. Okay, crazy moments. Joel had some of those too, that I did not have. He punches a sitting judge.
Okay.
He steals a gun.
Steals a gun.
He did steal a gun and drugged the guy. Whatever's in screen 10. And then he checks the stove at the end.
Oh.
Okay, and then my crazy moments are, he keeps pausing the video at the beginning, which I didn't catch, but in the commentary, they said that was supposed to be funny. Because they had a really long runner where he keeps pausing the video over and over and over.
That's supposed to be funny?
Yeah. Okay. Like, not in an overtly funny way, just he keeps pausing it and, like, agonizing over it.
Oh, yeah.
But they shortened it, so I don't think it stood out.
Uh-huh.
When he's in the hospital, he has the papers all over his bed.
Okay.
Dr. Bell and him talk about the great unknown.
Okay.
How do you know it's the great unknown? Could be the really bad unknown. He's really nervous to meet Molly, and he's like, no, I don't think so. He's like, people aren't really crazy about me. I'm not too crazy about me. He takes over 600 photos. The rest are being developed. He has pictures of her parallel parking, eating lunch, drinking coffee, her boyfriend Kyle, her telling me to stop taking pictures, and her taking away the camera. He talks about how Andy's overweight, which is funny. And Molly made the cut for the internet. She's on the internet. Oh, she made the cut, did she? He freaks out when Molly leaves, which is pretty crazy. He's going to quit the force. He's going to be fine as long as he doesn't eat, pay rent, or pay Natalie. And then the last one is the only one I think we had in common, which was he's going to go to the movies and see whatever is in Theater 10.
Ba-bang.
That was it. Okay, so out of 10...
You can go.
Okay. Out of 10 yard sale... Oh, actually, Joel's first.
Oh, okay.
Out of 10 sleeping pills, he gave a 9.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's actually really crazy.
Because he punches a sitting judge and steals the gun. And then I put, out of 10 yard sale sirens, I put 3. I put he's only really crazy when he meets Molly, but she doesn't seem to mind until he like quits. And then she's like, okay, whoa, that's a little much. And then he doesn't quit. And then so it kind of reverses. So I gave 3 yard sale sirens.
I don't have a number for this because I usually let you persuade me,
But I have a 3 and Joel has a 9.
Yeah, both of y'all have pretty far away. So I'll go like 5.
Okay.
In between there, 4, 5, That sounds good to me. So many high fives. Come on, do it. High five me.
No.
Do it. We're not moving on until you high five me.
Turkey. You have to wiggle the feathers.
God, fine. Rate this episode.
Y'all probably couldn't hear the thunder, but
It
was ominous. It was like, rate this episode.
Okay.
It was very ominous for our final one.
Oh, it's
our final one ever.
Okay. This is quick. This is going to be quick.
Okay.
I mean,
Joel first.
Joel first, of course.
Okay, Joel first. My score was a perfect 10. Everything was tied up. Everyone was happy in the end. And the closing song was very fitting. So, thank you, Joel. Joel also sent a really sweet message that I cried when I read the first time. So, I'm going to save it for our final episode.
What the heck?
Well, I don't even have it on here anyway, so.
Kandyce.
It's on the message. It's really long.
Rugrat.
It's really long. And it was really nice. So.
Little rugrat. Grrr.
Okay. So, you read the synopsis.
I read the synopsis. I did good. Hopefully.
So, do you have a spiel, though?
I don't really have a spiel. Not a prepared spiel, but I mean, this episode, at the least, I know I couldn't have done better writing the entire series, first of all, and let alone this episode. This was just, it made sense. I'm glad no one did anything too crazy. Nothing really ended up, Monk didn't go to jail. Monk didn't die. I'm glad he didn't die.
Mm-hmm.
What they did with him was really, really sweet. And everyone ended up where they should have ended. Over that, kind of saw this a few years in the future. And it's a perfect 10.
It is a perfect 10?
It is a perfect 10.
Oh my, yes. We went from almost 7 to a 10. I am so happy. Yes. Okay. So for my explanation one last time, I give every Monk episode a 10, at least a 10, and I go up from there. Okay. So I will never be able to say enough about this episode. Once again, I'm pleasantly surprised that I was pleasantly surprised that I loved the ending, if that makes sense.
That just not.
I was pleasantly surprised. Like, I wasn't like, oh, I was pleasantly surprised that I loved the ending. No, I am pleasantly surprised that I was pleasantly surprised.
Oh, that actually makes sense. Like, I am happy that I was happy about watching it.
Yes.
Okay.
I don't think that this episode is overhyped as one of the best series finales. I think it is one of the best series finales that I've ever seen. The writers not only gave us an action-packed, emotional roller coaster of an episode, they were still able to sum up everyone's stories in an epic series finale. Mm-hmm. The closure was definitely there, with no more wondering, mystery, or explanation needed. Everyone is fulfilled, and as an audience, I think we are all fulfilled as well. A perfect ending to a perfect series. With my final rating ever, I'm going with an 11.
What?
2 11s. I'm doing it.
What the heck? I've been told this is impossible.
No, it's not impossible.
What the heck?
According to Noah in Mr. Monk and The Run Part 2,
is on the run part 2.
you gave it an 11
out of 10.
So I am also doing the same thing because I think it's better than Sharona. And I love that episode.
Well, Nadoy, it's better than Sharona.
Well, I'm saying I gave that one a perfect 10. And if I'm pulling out the stops, this has got to be it. It is better than this. It's better than part 1. And I gave that one a perfect score too. I think this episode is better. I think it's a perfect series finale. I think it is, and I can't rate it the same. I just can't. And you know me, I'm a stickler for the rules.
She's a stickler for the rules.
And I broke them.
She broke them.
So
that's how badly the rules needed to be broken.
Yep.
She was a stickler.
Yep.
She broke them anyways.
Okay, guys. That's it. We talked this one out. All right, guys. We will see you.
It's a long one.
At least one more time. At least two more times.
At least 2 more times.
We're gonna do a
season finale, season wrap up.
Like season 8 wrap up.
Season 8 wrap up, and then a series wrap up.
Yeah. For Monk and for us.
Which I am excited about, both of those.
Me too. We're gonna talk all the seasons.
All
the seasons and all the episodes and all the things. I'm excited. Okay. Okay, guys. We hope that you enjoyed. We'll see you next time. I don't know if it'll be next week. We might. Noah's going to Cabo.
I'm going to Mexico. I'm going back to my people.
Push the junk time thing.
Oh no! I know, it'd been amazing.
This was supposed to be Mexican count.
Cabo.
Mexico. I know. I didn't know what I was saying. I was gonna say Cabo. Okay, do it again.
Cabo was sitting with like.
Cabo. We suck. Just forget it. Okay, guys. We'll see you next time.
Bye. Bye. Love you. Fly away, little monk.
Hey guys, thanks for listening to the Junk Monk Podcast. We'd love to hear from you, so please give us a 5-star review wherever you listen to podcasts. Also, follow us at Junk Monk Podcast on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube.
If you want to know more about Kandyce, she's at Hardens and Hardhats on Instagram. And if you want to know more about me, Noah L., subscribe to my vlog, Noah Hernandez, on YouTube. Also, you can leave us a voicemail at 323-366-0477 with your questions, comments, or just to show us some love.
Don't forget to catch up on Monk with Amazon Prime Video, and of course, subscribe to our show.
You'll thank me later.
Yeah, that was fun, and then we're done, and then we wave.
And then we wave.
And then we hope the camera didn't die.
And we hope the camera didn't die.
Bye.